It's starting to look like the stock market might be getting back on track. Today we saw Amazon stock move up by over 3% during normal trading hours and then additional 2% after hours. And some of this additional positivity that we saw after hours from the markets came from the fact that we had one of the Mag 7 stocks reporting their earnings, and that is none other than Google. Google reported some massive earnings that we're going to take a look at here in a second, and their stock ran up by almost 5% after hours. And that move was spurred on by the fact that Google came through and beat their bottom line numbers by almost 40%. Analysts were only expecting them to put up $2.01 of EPS. The company came through with $2.81 of EPS. That is a massive beat. Their revenue only slightly beating by 1.21%, reporting $90.23 billion of revenue. And this report from Google gives us some very good insight to what we can expect from Amazon, because these two companies compete in a lot of very similar markets. When we think about Google's core business model, it is centered around advertising. And for Google's revenue to grow by 12% year over year, which beat analyst expectations of 10%, that is overall a positive thing for Amazon, because Amazon also competes in the advertising space. And what's likely even a more positive catalyst for Amazon that came from Google's earnings is the fact that Google has seen some explosive growth around their AI business. When we look at their AI tools, they have seen their monthly users explode to 1.5 billion. That is up from 1 billion in October. So if Google is seeing this explosive growth, we can likely predict that Amazon and Microsoft are also going to see very strong numbers when it comes to AI. This is obviously based off cloud market share. However, the cloud market is very closely tied to the AI market. So it's likely that Amazon right now, with their 30% market share of the cloud space, is actually seeing more explosive growth than Google has seen over the last quarter. The question investors will be looking for Amazon to answer in this earnings report is how well are they actually monetizing that AI growth? And it will be interesting to see what Amazon provides in terms of guidance over the next quarter. One thing that could impact the business is the end to this de minimis trade loophole. This trade loophole allows companies to ship items that are less than $800 into the US duty-free. On one hand, this could have a positive effect for Amazon because it could eliminate some discrepancies between them and the competition. When we think about low price competition, we think about Temu and Shein. These companies are shipping things into the US that are often far less than $800, which allows them to avoid these fees. Vendors that sell on Amazon are often shipping in bulk orders to Amazon to distribute directly to customers. That ultimately results in them having to incur these duties and fees, driving up prices on the Amazon platform. Now, what this could do is lead to price increases on Temu and Shein, potentially leading customers to use a more trusted site like Amazon for some of their purchases. The negative side of this ultimately comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, prices increasing across the board due to tariffs will likely drive down some sales for Amazon over the next quarter or two. Before we go any further, if you've enjoyed the video so far, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe for more content like this. But what we have seen so far from companies' earnings lead me to believe that Amazon is going to report a very solid quarter. They are scheduled to report their earnings on May 1st, and right now analysts are expecting them to report a bottom line EPS number of $1.36 with top line revenue sitting around $155.08 billion. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Amazon come through with a 20+% beat on their bottom line numbers. We can see that over the last 4 quarters, Amazon has consistently beat their EPS numbers by around 23%. And what this has ultimately led to is a massive increase in their trailing 12-month EPS. If we go back to December of 2023, they had a trailing 12-month EPS of $2.90. That has since almost doubled to $5.53 as of their most recent quarter. quarter. I would not be surprised at all if Amazon reports a bottom line EPS number of around $1.70. That would be around a 25% beat from what analysts are currently predicting. Obviously, do not trade a stock just because some random guy on YouTube made a prediction that EPS numbers are going to come in greater than what analysts are expecting. Just because that may happen doesn't even necessarily mean the stock is going to move up. It's going to be very important that revenue numbers as well come at the very least in line and we see some positive guidance. And I think revenue is where things get a little bit more difficult because right now for the company, analysts are only expecting revenue to grow by 8.21% year over year. That is that $155.08 billion that they are expecting in this quarter. That would be up from $143.31 billion a year ago. And this is a trend that Amazon would like to see change. Just 5 years ago, this company was growing their top line by 20% consistently. Right now, they have seen this trend down into low double digits, and if we see it drop back down into single digits, that'll be the first time since 2022 when we started seeing a lot of concerns around inflation and increasing interest rates. Even with the stock trading up to around $190, it's still trading at a reasonable valuation for the company. If we look at 2025 earnings, the stock is trading around a 30 PE ratio. If we look at 2026 EPS expectations, the stock's trading closer to a 25 PE ratio. Right now on Yahoo Finance, they have a forward PE of 27. This is the lowest we have seen it over the course of the last year and a half. And of course, those numbers aren't even considering the fact that Amazon could come through and beat them by around 20% like they have over the last 4 quarters. Even though Amazon is a stock that I am very bullish on, it's one that I have never owned directly. This is the YouTube portfolio, and right now we have seen a big move up. The portfolio is now sitting at $59,747.92. And that's because across the board, we saw a lot of huge moves in the stocks that we own today. Google went up 7.47% over the course of the day. We are now up on this position. That is one we have been adding to heavily over the course of the last couple months. Super Microcomputer, we added 40 shares to just a few days ago. That proved to be an excellent move. That moved up almost 11% today. We are now up over 15% on that position. We can also see that AMD had a large move today, up 5%. We're up almost 20% on that position. We also recently added Adobe to this portfolio. Very excited about this position. It's up almost 3% today, in total up almost 6%. We also saw a massive move from Palantir. Palantir moved up over 8.5%, and on this position we have gotten back to a return of over 1,000%. It's always a little exciting to see your portfolio move up in such a massive way. However, at the end of the day, you have to stay a little bit humble, especially in a market like this where there has been an incredible amount of volatility. I still have plenty of cash on the sidelines. I would love to see the market go back lower so I can continue building out some of these positions. But right now, there's a lot of positivity in the market, and if we continue seeing things run up, that is going to be great. Amazon is one that I have to be paying attention to because it is a very exciting company and there's a lot of potential upside still with the stock. So I'd love to hear down in the comment section, what are your top 3 performing stocks so far in 2025, and what stocks are you paying attention to moving into this potential bull market? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Keep in mind, don't buy any company just because I talked about it in this video. Make sure you are doing your own research and looking into companies that meet your risk tolerance as well as your time horizon. With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like down below and subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day. And for the joke of the day, have you ever heard of quiet tennis? Check the comments down below for the answer. Thanks for watching.